Okay guys, I am back. I am in the middle of making my rub for my ribs. So I'm gonna tell you what I use for my ribs. I use, the recipe calls for brown sugar, so I found this Splenda brown sugar blend, and I use a half a cup of that, a tablespoon of paprika, a teaspoon of onion powder, a tablespoon of garlic, a teaspoon of salt, a teaspoon of black pepper, and I like this, it's called South African Smoke Seasoning Blend, and you can find it at Trader Joe's. They don't have it all the time, so when I do see it, I pick up 2 or 3 bottles of it. And the last thing I have to add is some liquid smoke, because I'm doing my ribs in the oven. And so right now I'm just mixing up the dry ingredients. Okay. And this is what the dry ingredients look like once you get it all. Looks like once you get it all mixed up. Okay, you want to mix that up good, because what you're going to do is you're going to massage it into your ribs. So what I'm going to do now is take my liquid smoke and add. It's not going to be a wet rub and not a dry rub, so it's going to be in between. So I'm just going to add a little bit of the liquid smoke. That's more than a few drops, but I kind of like get it into almost not a paste form, but I'm going to add a few more drops because I want to get that smoky flavor, but I don't want it to be overpowering. Oh, okay. So then it just, let's keep mixing it up in the bowl, and that's going to be my rub for my ribs. Okay. I like doing my ribs in the oven because I have barbecued on the grill, but since I moved here, I let the man of the house do the grilling. And since he has to work tomorrow, I tend to just put the ribs in the oven and slow cook them at 300 degrees for 3 hours, have them nice and wrapped up in foil, and they just fall off the bone. So now what we're going to do is we're going to get our rib out of the refrigerator, and we're going to clean it, and then I'm going to show you how I do my rub and massage, because I like to do it the night before, so all the spices and everything seep into the meat. And it just makes for a much more flavorful rib. All right, so got my rib over here, and it does include the tip. And I'm gonna clean that. And with your rib, you want to cut some of the fat off. And you're going to take some of the membrane off the back. And making a mess over here at the sink. So I'm going to lay down some parchment paper. So I can put my rib on once I finish cleaning it. Alright. So we're over here at the sink. You're going to grab a knife. I'm just going to pull some of this fat off. These are the rib tips. They came with the rib. Here's the other piece of the tip. I'm going to pull the fat off of it as well. And we're going to take that membrane off the back. Alright. That's the other part of the rib tip. Now here's my rib. And I'm going to take, so by taking the fat off the back of here, bring it closer so you can kind of see what is going on here. We're going to take the fat off the rib. It's not that much fat on the back of here, but we're going to take that, which is there. And then I'm going to take my knife and we're going to kind of cut this membrane and pull this off the back. Gotta grab a hold to it and kind of just pull that off the back of there. Sometimes it'll come off in one piece, sometimes it won't. Some people don't remove it, but I like to because then I can get the seasoning down into the bone of it. Alright. So once I get this all this membrane pulled off from the back, I'll be back so I can show you my rub. Okay. So I have finished getting the fat and the membrane off of my rib. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of pat it dry. That's why I put this parchment paper down. So I can kind of pat it dry. As you can see from the back, I've taken the membrane off the back. Then I'm going to take my knife and I'm just going to put some crosses in the back to help the flavor get into the meat. Some cuts so the flavor will get down into the meat. And I do this way too. Okay? That's just what I like to do because I want my seasoning to be all in, like I say, down to the bone. And we're going to put some cuts in the tips as well. Okay? And so now that I've got that done, I am going to get the foil, because what I do is I wrap my ribs in foil. And the foil that I wrap it in tonight is what I'm going to do, put it on a cookie sheet and tomorrow and cook it in so it'll all be ready. So all I have to do is pull it out of the refrigerator in the morning and stick it in the oven. Okay, so let's get our cookie sheet first. Alright, and let's grab the foil. So I have a cooking pan here. I like to line my pan with the foil. Alright. So we have our pan lined with the foil. And then we're going to set that aside. Then I'm going to get another piece of foil that I'm going to use to wrap my rib in. So now we're going to season our rib with the rub. All right. Okay. So this is the messy part. We're going to get it in here and we're going to just massage it into the rib. You can smell the liquid smoke. It gives that smoky smell already, along with that smoke, South African smoke seasoning that I use to season, put in my seasoning blend. And we're going to get that rubbed all in there and get every bit of it coated. Just massage it on in like so. All right. And you can see I have the front of it coated really well. Okay. So we're going to flip it over. And then we're going to do the same thing to the back. Massage it in. Okay. Every bit of it. Get it all massaged in there. Okay. Put a little bit more, because we're going to put some seasoning on the rib tips as well. And I have been doing my ribs this way all year basically, because whenever we get a hankering for ribs and we don't feel like putting them on the grill, this is what we do. And they come out, it's gotten to the point where we like these, we prefer these over putting them on the grill. But sometimes you just need that good old-fashioned smoke of the charcoal grill. So maybe before the weather turns, before fall ends and we get into winter, we'll fire up the grill, the barrel grill that we have outside. But this works in a pinch when you just have that anchoring for some barbecue ribs and you don't feel like being outside, whether it's too hot or too cold. Because I don't care what time of year it is, it's always a good time for ribs. Okay, so we're seasoning up the tips. Massaging and seasoning into that real good. And like I say, by doing it the night before, you get all the flavors and it has a chance to marinate all into the meat. And then when you do it in the oven, it just falls off the bone. You can put a sauce on it if you want. If you don't, you don't have to. But I will be using the barbecue sauce. It's not totally keto, but you know, every now and then, you know, you have to do it. Because I haven't found one and I haven't had a chance to make a barbecue sauce that is totally keto. Okay. So now that we have rubbed our ribs, and as you can see, they are nice and pretty. The paprika gives it a good color. Okay, so we got that seasoned all up. So what we're going to do next is just take the foil and wrap it. I will double wrap it so that when it cooks and the juices start to come out, render out of the rib, that it is packaged tight. So like I said, when I get ready to cook this tomorrow, I'll just pull it out of the fridge and stick it in the oven at 300 degrees for like 3 hours. And then I'll drain the liquid off of it and open it up, and then I'll baste it with some barbecue sauce and put it back in the oven for another about 30 minutes, and then we'll be ready to eat it. So the next thing I'm going to work on, my green beans are still over here cooking. They're almost done. And okay, so they're almost done. Can you see? Can you see it? Yeah, they're almost done. And I'm getting ready to turn my eggs off. So the next thing, once I put this in the fridge and wash my hands, we'll be working on our deviled eggs. So I'm washing my hands, and then I'm going to get set up to do my deviled eggs. After I'm going to let the eggs cool, and then I'll be back to do my deviled eggs. See you soon.